Another attack has been launched against the Stop Soros legislative package. This time it was a spokesperson of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights. He said the proposal violates the interests of migrants and asylum seekers, as well as NGOs' right to accept donations and funding from abroad. The Governmental Information Centre thinks it's becoming ever more apparent that the UN is following the Soros plan and wants to bring in millions of illegal migrants to Europe.
The proposed legislation represents an unjustified restriction on the right to freedom of association and is a worrying continuation of the government's assault on human rights and civic space. The spokesperson for the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights criticized the Stop Soros legislation package. Rupert Colville said in Geneva that the proposal hurts the interests of migrants and refugee status requesters and the right of non-governmental organizations to accept funding from abroad.
The ability of civil society organisations to access funding and other resources from domestic, foreign and international sources is an integral part of the right to freedom of association. We call on the Hungarian government to review these proposed laws to ensure that freedom of association is fully guaranteed.
The Government Information Centre published a written reply to Rupert Colville's statement. They wrote that it's becoming increasingly clear that the UN is following the Soros plan and wants to bring millions of migrants into Europe. As they put it, this is unacceptable to Hungary. The UN's Global Migration Pact was published a bit more than a week ago. Prime Minister Viktor Orbán said then that the UN is of value, but the debated text, based on current information, is against Hungarian interests. What will be of this world if we recognize migration as a fundamental human right, and world organizations think it is their task to organize it around the world, all over, moving from one place to another in crowds, instead of calling attention to the risks that it entails, because we think this is a dangerous phenomenon, he said. The Secretary General of the United Nations said that migration and organizations helping it have to be supported. Migration powers economic growth, reduces inequalities, connects diverse societies, and helps us ride the demographic waves of population growth and decline.
Most Hungarians are worried about illegal migration, but the same amount happens to be satisfied with the steps the government has taken regarding the issue, said the president of the Migration Research Institute to M1 News. Balázs Orbán added, most of Jobbik supporters, as well as 70% of uncertain voters, are agreeing with the government's steps.